Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Engineering Statics lecture video. I hope you guys are all doing well and are ready to learn, so let's get started. So you guys are saying, well, you know what, Clayton? 3D, you're right, it isn't too bad. All we did was add that additional component. When we talked about our force in CVN, we just added a K component. When we talked about our magnitude, we just added that FZ component squared. When we talked about our unit vector, we just added that K component. Nice and simple, right? Well, yes and no. So 3D starts to get a little bit more complex when we start talking about coordinate direction angles. So remember in 2D, if we had the two components, it was very easy to see the angle that the vector made with the x-axis. And if I knew the angle the vector made with the x-axis, it's very easy to determine what the angle the vector makes with the y-axis. I just go 90 degrees minus that angle. In 3 dimensions, it gets a little bit more tricky because we actually have 3 axes we need to consider. So coordinate direction angles are the angles a 3D vector makes with the positive axis. All right, so there's going to be the key here. These are the angles it makes with a positive axis. So let's say I had my force vector. It's looking sexy. It has all the components, fx, fy, and fz. Well, the coordinate direction angles are going to look something like this. So from the positive x-axis to our force vector, we call this angle alpha. From the positive y-axis to our vector, we call this angle beta. And then finally, from the positive z-axis to our vector, we call this angle gamma. All right? And you guys are saying, Clayton, oh, I don't like the looks of that. 3D angles, kind of gross. But here's a little secret. Coordinate direction angles are actually your best friend. They make everything as easy as it can be. The reason why? Well, we can figure out force components using these coordinate direction angles. Remember that typically we're given the magnitude of a force. We're not given the force in CVN. We're given the magnitude, some trigonometry stuff, and we're expected to figure out what the force is in CVN. If we're given coordinate direction angles, we can very easily find each one of the components because all we're going to do is take that magnitude, which we're given, and multiply it by the cosine of the coordinate direction angle. So for fx, I'm going to take my magnitude f, and I'm going to multiply it by cosine of alpha. For y, same thing, except cosine of beta. And then for z, same thing, except cosine of gamma. So notice one thing here. These are all cosines. And this will be explained right here. So a couple of little things. These angles are always going to be between 0 degrees and 180 degrees. All right, we can't have more than 180 degrees because then it starts measuring from the negative axis or the opposite way. So our angles are always going to be between 0 and 180, and this is important because this allows for our cosines to be positive or negative. So let's say that I had an axis that is positive going to the left, but my force vector is actually going to the left. Well, as we can see here, the angle is going to be greater than 90 degrees. So let's say it's 120 degrees. If I cosine 120 degrees, I'm going to get a negative value. So this math right here actually takes into account direction, because if my force is greater than 90 degrees, it'll automatically become negative, which indicates it's going in the opposite direction. So it's actually really nice for us because this allows for those negative components. As we're going to see here, a lot of the intuitiveness that we've had in 2D gets erased in 3D because the math actually starts accounting for everything we need to know, which is great. It means that we have to think less, and that's always the best solution. So coordinate direction angles. Coordinate direction angles form a very special relationship with unit vectors. So if we look at our unit vector formula, it's very simple. We just take each component and divide it by the magnitude of our force. Now, we're saying, Clayton, components, we actually know what those are from the coordinate direction angles. We know that fx is going to be the magnitude multiplied by cosine alpha, fy is f multiplied by cosine beta, and fz, of course, is going to be f multiplied by cosine gamma. So if I take those identities from coordinate direction angles and substitute them into the unit vector formula, I get the following. Now it's nice here because I'm seeing a lot of magnitudes of f on the top and the bottom. So I can actually cancel those all out. If I'm taking something and dividing it by the same thing, of course it cancels out. So this formula can actually be simplified into the following, where the unit vector can actually be directly obtained just by going cosine of alpha in the I direction, cosine of beta in the j direction, and cosine of gamma in the k direction. I didn't need the force magnitude at all. I already know what my unit vector is going to be, which is great. So there's kind of the first little thing. Now, here's where the trick comes in. We know that the magnitude of a unit vector is 1. I've been saying that all the time. This is where it comes in handy for the first time. So if I look at that formula I have, and I know the magnitude of that bad boy must be 1, well, I can conclude the following, that the square root of all the components squared, so cosine squared alpha, cosine squared beta, and cosine squared gamma, if I know that that is equal to 1, I can simplify it into the following. All I do is square both sides. The square root vanishes on the left. 1 squared, well, that's still going to be 1. I get the following identity, where cosine of alpha squared plus cosine of beta squared plus cosine of gamma squared, that's all equal to 1. So this is where the trick comes in, because what professors love to do is they only give you 2 coordinate direction angles. And a lot of students will say, well, I got 2 coordinate direction angles, I can't do anything. I need that third one to actually make things meaningful. Well, if you know 2 of the angles, you can actually solve for the third one using this formula. For instance, if I know what alpha and gamma is, my only unknown in this equation is going to be beta. So I can solve for beta directly. So yep, that's it for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.